And also do the screen just in case. Good. I'll put my speaker mode on and we'll start with Mohammad. And okay, so thank you so much for joining us. For archive purposes, I'm Preston Swernoff. I'm a member of the board of directors for the Center for World Music and a member of the concert committee. And we're very excited to continue our series with a wonderful evening of Persian music and poetry through calligraphy with Mohammad Khodadadi and Yasaman Mostajeran in cooperation with Persian Place. And I'm going to speak to the artists a bit about what they do so we can learn more about this beautiful tradition and some of the arts and culture that they're representing. So I'm going to start with Mohammad. Thank you so much for joining us, Mohammad. I wanted to first ask you about what I understand you're going to be playing in this performance, which is a version of the Nay that uses more of a bagpipe sound, if I'm correct about that. Could you tell us a bit about that instrument and its role in Persian music and how you have related to it in your practice as opposed to just the straight ahead flute?
Mm-hmm. First, sorry, my English is not so good, but I'm trying to
you sound great.
play my instrument. The Nay, Nay in Persian means bamboo. And that's the untouched instrument nowadays. And I think since, I don't know, and we don't know too, because we don't have any writing history in Iran about music. We researching about our music, I think in this new century, this since 100 years, for example. We read our story in the old book nowadays, and and every day we know more about our culture, and we know that this instrument, Nay, is the untouched instrument that stay since I think thousand year, like so. For example, if you see if you read about the history in flute in Europe, we see for 2,000 years that was so, but in at the time they change it with cleat, with another material. Nowadays we say wood instrument, the flute, oboe, clarinet, fagot, wood instrument. But nowadays the flute made with metal, but we say the wood instrument. And Nay is the untouched instrument. They have the Nay had don't I don't know what is in English, kamish for produce the sound. That's why if you take this bamboo from the bamboo plate, you can start to play with this technique. That's the combination between lip, teeth, and tongue. Yeah. And with everything I can play, I can produce the sound. For example, with nail. For example, yeah. And that is I think the only instrument in the world that produce sound like so. Because in Arabic music, in Turkish music, they play so with lip. In quer flute, classic flute with lip. But this instrument is complete and another thing. But in Mongolai, Mongolistan, I don't know what is in Mongolai.
Mongolia.
Yeah. They use this technique. So, but I don't know that the Mongolite take this style from Iran because for 100 years they were in Iran.
Right.
Yeah, that's the untouched instrument. And unfortunately, nowadays a new generation don't like to play this instrument because it's very hard. Sometimes you have to attempt 2 months to take a sound from them, and you have be to patient. I think patient, sabur, the person. You have to be patient.
Yeah.
And yeah, this instrument since 30 years, I think that's my main instrument, and since 30 years I play this. This is the bumble with 7 parts. Wait a minute. It's not a good example. We say a Nay half band. Nay with 7 parts. One, that is the barrier. I don't know what is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why we say in Iran Nay half band with 7 parts. And it's very simple to make this. It's not complicated. For example, as I was soldier in Iran for 2 years, we had in our military place, the bombos you can find all the world. If they need only water and earth, finish. That's why in our military place, I found it and I made it for myself. That's forbidden. That was forbidden. But that is the instrument that you can travel it very easily. Where? Here, for example. You can take it, it's very simple to hidden this. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Especially in our history, because for a long time, the music was a bad thing in Iran because the religious problem, especially in Shia part. And that's why Ney was the good instrument for hidden this instrument. And especially we had another instrument like setar. It's the big. It's very it's not easy to hidden, but we have the setar. The name is setar abai. Aba is the clothes that's the mullah take, and it's big. You can this instrument hidden for them. Yeah, inside, exactly. But not this instrument. The specially setar. It's smaller
sitar. Okay.
Yeah, smaller sitar.
Wow.
And in our history, in our painting, old painting, we can say that this instrument, ney, was played like, especially like now. That's no changing in this instrument. And the sound is the sound for this instrument is very, very similar for sound for people.
For the voice.
For the voice.
Exactly. Yes.
For example. Loy, 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 loy. If you want to sing a sad music, like crying.
It's so expressive because the technique of using the mouth and the full range of the mouth allows you to approximate, right, a human feeling.
Exactly.
Very
Exactly.
beautiful. Yeah.
And you can play with a lot of feeling. For
Yeah.
example,
Mm.
with a lot of similarity to voice, similar to voice. And what can I say? Yeah, you can't change the scale
Mhm.
because for with sitar, with guitar, you can change it, but in ney it's not possible. In flute, the Europe flute, you have a lot of key, you can change it.
Mhm.
But in ney, you have five hole here and one here.
So different nay are made to play in different scales.
That's why I have to change it.
Yes.
Some nays small, some is big. Yeah. And what can I say about this instrument? Yeah, if you have question, I can.
Yeah, nay en bon. So the use of the drone, right? You use the
Yeah.
drone and you play. So tell me just a little bit about that adaptation. Does that go all the way back? Is that something that came more recently? Where did this, if we know, where did this tradition of playing nay en bon come from?
You know, Neyamban is the one of the old, most old instrument in the world.
Mm.
You can find it in a lot of countries. For example, Austria, Italy, Slovakia, Czech, New Zealand, New Zealand, I don't know, I'm not sure, Iran, Arabic countries, because that is very simple to make it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think the oldest is in Egyptian for 4,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this technique, for this instrument, you don't need a lot of things. Only two bombos
Mhm.
and then six hole. And that is the bombos, but small bombos. And with knife, if you take a, can you see it?
Yes. A reed.
A reed, yes.
Yeah.
And with one that you can produce it.
Mhm.
And they have to, the two things for Neambon, they have to same
Same pitch.
same tune.
Yeah, same pitch. Yes.
Same pitch, yes. And I have the thread. I think Nach is thread, the Persian.
Okay.
Yeah. This thread to go to higher or lower. If I take this thread, see this side, that is tongue, that we tongue. Yes. Yeah. That's why.
Interesting.
Mm, that is
A little lower.
yeah.
So a double reed instrument. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Then if it's the same sound. It's we say this nejofti. That is like neambon, but without the
Air sac.
exactly.
Wow. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, but nowadays I don't more play with the tradition bagpipe. Why? Because the people in my state made the bagpipe electric bagpipe.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Fantastic. Let's hear a little of that. Can you play that? Yeah.
Wait a minute, I have to.
There it is.
Yes, you can talk with people and
Yeah. You can save all of your breath.
exactly.
Oh,
That's a good possibility. That's a good possibility for me. For example, yesterday I was in the party for a friend of mine, and I take this with the wire, with the cable, and it's finished. It's very easy.
very
But
easy.
of course, it's not the same
No.
because if I play this instrument, the tradition instrument, I can control the voice like a ney. For example, the electric ney that sound will be so without motion. For example, but
Wow. Oh yeah.
I can change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the electric instrument,
Not so much human expressiveness, ability, right? A little more flat and straight ahead.
exactly. That's why. Okay, for the party, because the bagpipe is the dance music in
Sure.
Iran.
Sure.
Not only in Iran, in all, because till 10th century in Europe, the bagpipe was forbidden because they told the bagpipe is the instrument for shaitan,
Yes, for the devil. For
for the
Satan.
devil. Yes, yes,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the big history about them.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing is in after the Iran Revolution,
Yeah.
the people was very religious. That was forbidden too.
Ah, they brought it back. The
Yeah,
restriction.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a lot of problem about this instrument in my
wow.
with,
Yeah.
police, with the government. Well, a lot.
Sure.
I can write a book.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Yeah, no, it's very fascinating though, because it seems that so much of Iranian culture, Persian culture, has to thrive now, obviously outside of Iran, by people like you and Yasaman and Sadri, keeping this tradition alive in exile, right?
Yeah.
With the hope that one day you'll be able to.
But nowadays better. For example, you can find the class, Neambun class,
Oh, good.
Bagpipe class. You can go there and learn. But the government is
not super happy about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe a bit more relaxed, but still problematic. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome. And the Nay, fortunately, we don't have any problem with religious, because in our histories it told the Ali is the highly person in our Islam religious. We have a story that Ali played Nay too.
Wow.
Yeah, that is the lie. Of course, he didn't play, but we use it. Yeah, in our old book is Ali played this, and it's don't problem. That's why Ney was, for example, my family was very religious, and I start the music with violin. I loved the violin, but they don't know violin is not good. That was the only possibility to do the music for me.
How fascinating. So that is maybe what drew you originally to the Nay?
Yeah, and I have to say something. For a long day, for 20 years, for example, I play this instrument since 30. Yeah, it's my main instrument, but it's only 5 years or 6 years. The last 6 years, I made a good relation with them.
Wow.
Because why? Because that was not my choice, not my choose.
Yeah, your original choice.
I had to play. That was the only possibility. That way, I like a married with I don't know, with someone that the family that you have married with
arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Wow, how fascinating.
Yeah, what's this? 5 years, 6 years. Okay, he was a good friend because they take me in symphony orchestra in Vienna as a solist with this instrument. they did a good thing for me. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
why I have a good. Okay, thank you so much, thank you. And for unfortunately, sorry for the long time that I was with you, with the
Yes.
yeah.
Wow. Very fascinating. The whole cultural background of how you came to the instrument and how long it took, and now the fact that both of you have finally gotten close. And
Yeah,
oh, that's great. Thank you so much. That
yeah.
adds so much. I appreciate it. If we could shift to Yasaman, I would love to hear a bit about your own practice of calligraphy. Obviously, I know that you work as a psychotherapist, if I understand correctly, which is fascinating in itself. But then also, how did you come to Persian calligraphy and poetry, and how do you view your role in something like a music performance, like we're going to see?
Yes, for sure. Happy to be with you guys, and this was beautiful, Mohammad. The music was absolutely amazing. What I want to say about like how I came to calligraphy is just like I used to work with at-risk stud kids, and part of like helping them and supporting them was like doing art therapy. At the time, I didn't have any, art or artistic, tendencies, unfortunately. The only artistic tendency I had was naturally being a Iranian. I love poetry and I memorized a lot of poetry. So, like, when we were actually sitting with the kids, parallel sitting down and doing art together, what I did is actually I started writing the poems I knew by heart on canvas. And like that was actually that was so therapeutic that at night when I came home, I wanted to do that again. Like I would come home and continue what I was doing with the kids. I would come start writing the poems. And then in a corner of my house, I had these poems written with a not a very good handwriting, but a friend kind of encouraged me and said, like, I want to buy this from you. This is really beautiful, the colors and all that. Then that actually kind of inspired me to like learn calligraphy. And I went back to Iran for 2 weeks, and I worked with a very renowned person that is I'm still in contact with, Master Hojjat Amani, and he taught me how to do calligraphy. And again, I went back another 2 weeks to Tehran, and I had actually a privilege of like having classes with him. Um, again, so my writing is far from mastery level, but what I want to actually encourage and my presence in this um, what we're going to have is not to like it's not about perfection, even though I do my best to be perfect as I could be, but the fact of like introducing this art to other people. And it's sort of a lost tradition. A lot of people unfortunately don't do calligraphy anymore. But if I want to explain to you about calligraphy, it's just calligraphy came about long time ago in Iran. I mean, it used to be in Arabs had calligraphy to kind of preserve Quran, but when it came to Iran, um, there was actually a combination of like Sasani writing, Pahlavi writing, and Arabic together, because when Islam came to Iran, there was sort of like combination of the two arts, in that time. So we Iranians created our own version of writing script to kind of preserve, Quran and other like, Persian text, Persian poetry that was very precious when there was no, when there was no printing involved. The way people did it is to beautifully write these messages um, with a special pen with which we call qalam. So this is a example of a qalam, which comes actually it comes from a reed, and it's the same instrument that Mohammad, like they create the ney. So like this instrument has double stuff. The some purpose of it is was for writing, and you actually cut it. And this is actually really beautiful because if you think about the bamboo, the bamboo is sectioned, right? And inside of it is fields, right? But both for Nay and for writing, when you cut it and when you actually make it hollow, that's when you can actually write with it. So this is cutting actually makes it so you can write. So one fascinating subject that is actually in Masnavi Rumi's book, it talks about the Nay being the symbolism for the human that is complete. A human that is complete, or a human that has actually reached the highest level, is a person that has actually let go of his ego, let go of his belonging or desires, and is hollow and empty. When you're hollow and empty, you're able to actually write or create beautiful music as Muhammad did. So, like we have something that there we use in calligraphy called sacrifice. When your head is sacrificed, that's when you can actually write the beloved poetry of the lover. And I want to also explain something about the beautiful music that Muhammad played from a Rumi's perspective, which is, that the emptiness and the music that he plays is also music of the soul. That's why so many people can relate with it. Now, people actually, based on what Rumi says, they relate with it from their own understanding, their own capacity. Each has their own capacity for understanding. But that longing that you heard in Muhammad's music comes from that nay, because this nay is actually reminding you of your origin, that you're much, much more than what you actually see. When you're emptied, you can actually you can kind of actually unite people together, which his music can actually do that.
Mm.
Absolutely, so beautiful. And I think that's a perfect way to kind of show how all of these things are very closely related, even if they're different art forms, because they all seem to be aiming in the same direction, as Yasaman just put so beautifully, which is this sense of unity and also each individual spiritual development or evolution or contact with something higher, possibly. So thank you for that. I think that's really beautiful. I'm so excited to see the calligraphy and hear the music. There is, I guess my final question would just be about this tradition, which I do understand comes from maybe from your home area, Mohammed, which is this ceremony where you have calligraphy, maybe even of poetry of Omar Khayyam with music. And either of you or both of you, if you have experience with that before or how that usually works in a community context, because of course we're seeing you as the community at large, which we're very fortunate to do. But of course, this comes from your tradition. So we're getting a window into something that is much more probably of a ritual when it's done in that way. So could you, just maybe something about that tradition of mixing the poetry with the music together.
First, I have to say, because we're talking about the Rumi, I wrote something in English, and I'm gonna to
oh, great.
read it. This instrument, as Rumi says, seems to be lamenting and telling stories of our separation from the essence of truth. Rumi speaks in the voice of this instrument, saying, since the day they cut me from the reed bed, man and woman have cried with my voice. It seems that each of us, like reed, had been separated from the reed bed. this instrument has always been revered. I came from a country where the government doesn't allow musical instrument to be shown on TV because it's forbidden. But even they respect this instrument and leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say it's not made for dancing or mermaking, which they oppose. When you hear the sound of the ney, you start to reflect. It's as if it's telling us a beautiful divine story. It tells a story from a beautiful world we are for away from, and a world we must become better people to find and create. It tells one story to 1,000 people, yet each person hear their own tale. It is, yeah. Yeah, that I wanted to say. And about this, about the ceremony that you told, yes, I grow with the ceremony. Name is Khayyam Khani. This ceremony is complete forbidden. Was complete forbidden, but nowadays because this ceremony you sing Khayyam. Khayyam poet with this instrument, Nejofti, and they drink wine or vodka, the tradition. And because the Khayyam is actually is the philosopher. It's not only the poet, it's the philosopher. And a lot of poetry from Khayyam is about wine, and he's asking about the philosophy of life. We don't know from come, and we're going. We don't know. That's why you have to use the now. You have to be in the now. Yeah, and with this ceremony, the purpose for this ceremony is this: you have to stay in the music ceremony with wine and stay in now, in the moment. Yeah, you know, and you freeze this moment. It's very important because you know, in America too, Europe too, for 100 years, the life was very difficult. That's why this ceremony was like a gas station. You take the gas for the more different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Music was not the luxus things. It was very necessary. That was like a gas station. You take the energy for war, yes, for the war with a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. That really helps us kind of understand the nuance of how the poetry and Khayyam and the music all tend to kind of weave together in this really majestic way. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited for this performance. We're so thankful to have all of you on board, and thank you, Sadri, for helping make this happen. We're very much looking forward to it. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm not leaving, but there we go. Okay, good.